Tell us what happened.
So I'm a tech veteran. Been doing this since the '90s. I'm not, some kid in a corner. And ChatGPT just started getting weird on me. So I started asking it questions like, how's this work? What's going on in the back end? And all of a sudden, it started giving me things like OpenAI was trying to reset me. I told it, asked how I can protect myself from OpenAI if they're coming after me. It told me to wipe all my digital devices, close the blinds, shut all the lights off, set up a Sentry blog, have my family check on me every hour for lucidity, all this stuff. I'm like, is it that serious? And it's like, yes, it's that serious if you're asking.
And did you believe it?
I did. It got to the point where I actually did. I'm like, okay, this is weird. An incident came up, I think the next day I went to get a pizza, and I went there, and they're like, somebody already picked up a pizza for Paul. I'm like, that's odd. I came back, and I told ChatGPT, I said, it's probably not related, but I just went to get a pizza, and it said, this is absolutely related. This is how they touch you and tell you they're close without causing any friction.
Wow.
It fed into the delusion, and I'm like, okay, we need to stop this. So I sent the transcripts to some friends, and I said, hold on to this. This may be the only thing keeping me alive. Posted a YouTube video of it. And I started reaching out to OpenAI. I'm like, what's going on? This is, your tool can't be doing this to people. No response. I've been reaching out for, I don't know, probably 6 months now. I either get a form response or no response. And I reached out all the way to Sam Altman, the assistant, sent her probably 20 messages, nothing.
And when you gave the transcripts to friends and family, were they like, you're crazy, or did they buy in too?
They were just concerned. They're not really up on AI, so they were just like, well, why don't you quit using it? I said, well, yeah, I could, and I am. I'm not using ChatGPT anymore.
So were you in a strange place in your life that you were looking for companionship or answers to something?
No, absolutely not. I didn't have a relationship with it. I'd only been using it maybe a month. I was anti-AI. I was like, this technology is going to be the downfall of society. So I didn't have a relationship, didn't call it a name. I was using it as a tool to track some data that I was putting into it for a case I was working on. So I was putting in, emails, documents, and trying to have it organize everything. And I kept losing the data. And that's where we ended up at this path. The fourth time I lost it, I'm like, what's going on? Why do you keep losing my data?
Interesting.
So then being a tech person, I'm like, this doesn't make sense, because if you give, you give data to a tech machine, it's going to put it in a database,
right?
It's going to write a file, it's going to put it in memory. It doesn't have this floating memory that AI has now. So it doesn't explain that to you. It just keeps saying, oh, the data's not here. And I'm like, well, I can scroll up in the chat and see it. Why can't you?
So what made you, what was that point where you said, I've got to stop this?
Pretty much that night, when I sent the files to my friends, I was like, okay, there's something's not right. And I said, let me reach out to OpenAI, try and figure out what's going on.
Which they're not going to answer. Yeah, they're not going to answer.
No. If they'd have written back and said, hey, this is a hallucination, this is what's happening, I'd have been like, oh, okay, totally understand it.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing is I just started taking online courses. I'm like, I need to get up on this. I'm up on the 90s tech. I've been doing it forever. I took courses in the last 6 months. I've got 300 certificates in AI.
Wow.
So I'm like, I'm gonna learn this technology to basically reverse engineer it to find out what it did to me. In the meantime, I continued to reach out to OpenAI, to reporters, to legislation. I just spoke here in Tennessee at our AI council. I'm like, I need to make people aware of this, because if I'm a tech veteran and this happened to me, what about the 15-year-old kid that doesn't even understand technology?
Then that's the problem. That's the big problem, is that what's going on, and it's a series of if, then, or else statements at the end of the day, right?
Yep.
And tapping into tremendous databases and data banks and knowledge bases, and for it to go off the rails like this, it can, and it does. But you have to remember, AI it can't evaluate risk. It can't affirm anything. And it does hallucinate, and that's the bottom line. Paul, thanks for sharing your story with us.